It's a beautiful day here in Orlando. It's a rare, very cool day. I think the high is only about 58 degrees today. And I like to use that expression, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, because we're here in honor of Mr. Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers had his show in the U.S. I don't think it was worldwide. It started in 1968 out of Pittsburgh, and it was a very iconic show. I was born in 1958, so I was a little bit out of the age range for the show. Joe is born earlier than me in 1972, so he was prime age for watching this show. I think it was mainly for younger children. And I learned the most, I think, about Mr. Rogers when I watched that Tom Hanks film, I think it's called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and Tom Hanks did such a great job portraying Mr. Rogers. And after that, I was so fascinated with him. He was such a beautiful man, beautiful character. It was almost like he went to this college where we're at, Rollins College in Orlando. He graduated here in 1951 with a degree in music. And when I learned about his life, I thought, I bet he took psychology classes too, because he really delved into the psychology of children and making them feel good. And probably a lot of children who had parents that weren't maybe the best parents in the world, but they had Mr. Rogers to fill that gap. And what a beautiful man. He had so many beautiful sayings on his show, and I just loved his show, and I learned so much about him from the movie. So if you love Mr. Rogers, hopefully you'll like this video. We'll just take a look at the sculpture here. This was done by a British sculptor, I think in 2020 it looks like. And it's so nice that they honor him here at Rollins College. Rollins is a beautiful college. It's been here since the 20s. And as I said, Fred Rogers graduated here with a degree in music in 1951, and then he started his show out of Pittsburgh in 1968. A fun fact that I learned when we were in the Pittsburgh area, that the film director George Romero, who's very iconic horror film director, he actually worked on Mr. Rogers' show and got his start directing on his TV show. So let's just look at this sculpture here. It's a really big sculpture, and I love down here they have one of his sayings, which was, "Would you be mine?" I don't know if you can read that, but it says, "Would you be mine?" And I also, I just learned so much from that Tom Hanks movie about Mr. Rogers, and he was kind of saintly. He was just so kind to children, and really gave them good advice about how to navigate the world and how to feel good inside. And these are his little puppet characters here. I don't know their names, but I know many people do. But I like I said, I didn't really know much about him till I watched the Tom Hanks movie, and he really was like a saint to children, and maybe still is. I don't know if his show is still run. I think it was on PBS. Oh, and this is the beautiful quote here. It's a beautiful day for a neighbor. So nice. And he always wore a sweater on the show. So yeah, and I think he lived here in his later years. I believe he died in 2003, but I think he lived in this area, which is a beautiful area of Orlando, Winter Park. I think he lived here later in life, or had a summer home here. So we'll continue our tour of Mr. Rogers at Rollins College. Just gonna pan around Rollins College. It's beautiful here. As I said, it's a college that started in the 20s. I really feel like I'm on the East Coast. It's just so nice. And I read somewhere that Paul McCartney's stepdaughter went here recently, and that's why Paul McCartney bought a house in this area. I don't know if he still owns a house, but apparently he did buy one at one time to be near his stepdaughter. All right, I'm in another part of Rollins College on our tour, and this is called the Walk of Fame. I'm not sure it has anything to do with Fred Rogers, but it's such a neat, they call it the Walk of Fame. And what it is each plaque, the people aren't buried here, but each plaque has a rock in it from the place that has significance to the person. Like this is honoring Benjamin Franklin, and that rock you see in the middle, where I'll put my foot there, that is from Philadelphia. From the shed roof on Stratford-on-Avon, so that's a tile from the roof. All right, we're going to go in this room. It's a library, and I think they have some artifacts there from his life. Oh, hey, okay, we're here in the library on campus, and I love this photo. It's kind of hard to see in the glare, but that's Fred Rogers and his classmates in 1951 when he's graduating. And this is it's a lot of glare, but that's Mr. Rogers there and his wife in the spring of 1949. They were doing, looks like they were doing a play. And that's a nice photo of him with his shoes. All right, another picture there. A beautiful day for a neighborhood. And this is the Rollins Walk of Fame there with Mr. Rogers. And I love this quote here. Some of the most endearing friendships I have in this life began at Rollins. Talk about a nurturing neighborhood. For me, Rollins was the right place to learn and to grow. Nice. All right, so we're looking at Mr. Rogers' sweater, Fred Rogers' sweater. It's in great condition, and the kind librarian let us in here, and so that's the tag. I guess his mother knitted it?
Nancy Flagg.
Nancy Flagg, that's his mother. Wow. Wow. Jesus, you would think this could be in the Smithsonian. This is...
Actually, there is a sweater of his in the Smithsonian.
There is one in the Smithsonian?
There's a small collection there devoted to like advances in national education, and he was quite an advocate, of course.
Yes. All right, I'm just gonna, and these are his sneakers.
You don't know which year he was wearing the sweater or the sneakers?
You know, he had several for the show.
Yeah.
There were at least 3 identified ones. There was a red one, which the Smithsonian has. Then this is a blue one, and there was a yellow one. I'm not sure if it's still with the family. These were given to the college in the early 90s because the college started...
Do you mind if I film you?
Oh, please, go ahead. The college started a child development program in the early 90s during Rita Bornstein's administration. And Fred was here to promote it and talk about the value of early childhood learning. And as a gift to the college during that time, he gave us these materials.
That's great. Yeah. And what, was this in the 90s? Was it?
Yes, it was in the early 90s.
Early 90s. So he was still involved with the college.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, and Joanne was involved with the college even until her passing. I mean, they did philanthropic work, and now their philanthropy continues beyond them.
She passed away not that long ago, I think.
Correct, yeah. She was involved in the documentary and the Tom Hanks film.
That's what I thought. I remember reading about her. I think she live in Pittsburgh and then she had a house in Nantucket, I think. But I remember, I think when the Tom Hanks movie came out, she was alive.
She absolutely was. She went on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
She was really absolutely an advocate for, him and what he stood for.
That's so great. Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Rachel.
Rachel.
I'm one of the archivists here.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Just gonna zoom in on those sneakers.
Yeah.
And his wife,
And so
is she she's in this yearbook?
Yes, this is her right here.
That's her.
Joanne Bird.
so that's his writing there. These sneakers help to
Make many Mr. Rogers television neighborhood visits.
neighborhood
I'm
visits.
gonna bring up some of them now.
Wow.
And see, yeah.
And so again, he
Which
wore
ones?
3 different colors. So this is obviously the
I'm
blue.
not actually sure exactly how many, but there were at least 3 that people saw regularly on the show. And of course, that was part of the show. He put on his, sweater, he put on his shoes.
Yeah.
There's a song for it, so everyone kind of remembers that part of the show.
Yeah, I actually didn't know much about him because I'm a little bit older for the show because I was born in '58.
Right.
So by '68, I wasn't watching
little kid
shows. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what
Yeah.
I was watching. I don't know, the Monkees or something.
Yeah.
But Joe,
Yeah, I was watching.
Joe
Oh, I
grew
was
up
too.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even my parents
Yeah.
watched him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I learned so much from the Tom Hanks movie, and I'm surprised. I wonder if he studied psychology here, because he seemed like he was just he had such beautiful concepts on mental health and feeling good about yourself and
Yeah.
And-
he actually did get a ministry degree after Rollins.
uh-huh.
But I don't know if that would connect with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It certainly, I think, affected his outlook on life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I'm just gonna
Sometimes
zero
when
in.
the weather and everything, I change my clothes and I'll, you put the coat hanger on.
Yeah.
And especially with the
Oh.
movie lately,
Yeah.
and this, and I think of them, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, people have
I
come in
love
here
that.
and gotten, very emotional because
that's
Mr.
him.
Rogers tackled kind of tough issues on his show. He handled death, divorce.
I know. That's what I
Race.
mean.
I
He
remember
was.
Race too, yeah.
Yeah, one of
That's
the
his
first-
wife there, right?
Yes, Joanne. Mm-hmm.
And it kind of
Sarah
fills the gap in
Joanne.
for parents. Like if
Oh.
your parents aren't around as a kid, you're.
I was a latchkey kid. Yeah, absolutely. We just went home and
I
watched
think
TV
like
afterwards.
most of my moral base, looking back,
Yeah.
I always wonder like where's it from? But now I realize definitely him.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of it.
Well, I think he filled a gap with kids that maybe didn't have parents that were so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
No, I completely agree.
I-
I mean, there was somebody that.
All right, we got a map which they give you in the library, and we're still on the Walk of Fame, which is these headstones that have stones within them, and I found the Mr. Rogers one, Fred McFeely Rogers, 1951, he graduated Mr. Rogers neighborhood, and so that stone there in the upper left-hand corner is from his hometown of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So that's really great. Love that. Mr. Rogers neighborhood. So beautiful. And then it also says on the map that he attended here, of course, but this was his dormitory. It's called Lyman Hall. Beautiful old building. So this would have been his dormitory when he went to school here in the late 40s and early 50s. So that's another look at the Frederick Lyman Hall, and this was Mr. Rogers' dormitory. Beautiful building. Kind of goes all around here and then connects over there. So nice. We're here at Strong Hall, another dormitory area. Nice, they have barbecues here. And I'm coming down the hallway to find one of the inspirations for Mr. Rogers. Isn't that beautiful? Life is for service. So when he was a young man here in the late 40s, early 50s, this made such an impression on him that he carried a photo of this in his wallet at all times. Life is for service. All right, we're in the music hall at Rollins College, and this is a place where Fred and his future wife would be a lot. They both studied music, so they have a really nice portrait here Mr. Rogers in the lobby. I love that. So I hope you like the tour. And until next time, we'll be seeing you.